would answer that question from the impact on the corporates, which is the clients of the financial services firms operating in these wholesale markets. The UK, our Chancellor announced that the UK assessment on EU financial services firms is that they deem them equivalent on these 44 mechanisms that sit across the EU financial services directives. The EU has taken a very different stance, and it published its assessment back in July, and it was quite tough on the UK FS providers. But where the pain will be felt is by corporates, and is about have they got service provision going to be supplied to them within the EU? Are they confident that enough of this business has been taken out of the UK and into the EU hubs so that the corporates can be serviced? It's particularly onerous. Some of this is particularly onerous for firms in the energy sector. They need to be accessing the London Metal Exchange. So that's just this one example. So what's really important for us to see why the deal is so important to financial services, it means that we've politically reached a deal. We've got a trade deal, and that will bring the benefit that we can then allow our regulators to collaborate fully and to hammer out the final cliff edge issues that remain for corporates, regardless of where they're located in the UK or on the European continent. And that's what we need. We've got to remember that we businesses, we have been trading partners for 40 years now. We have built relationships as suppliers and clients of each other, and we want to continue trading. And we need solutions to these issues. So the quicker we can get the technocrats, our regulators, sitting down together and hammering out the issues around financial service equivalence, issuing those determinations, looking at the remaining cliff edge issues, and very importantly, looking at the issue of data. We can't trade in today's modern world without data equivalence, data adequacy. We need to get a solution to this.
And Simon, let me put that question to you as well, because in the case where the EU, say, do cut off some financial services from the continent from an equivalent standpoint, what legal recourse does the UK have then to contest that?
Oh, absolutely none. I mean, Europe has always been very defensive against external providers. When the UK becomes an external provider, then it will simply have to take what it's given. I mean, the question, of course, is what does it mean to provide a financial service in the UK, in Europe? At the moment, most banks, certainly most investment banks, are physically located everywhere from the Catskills to the Surrey Hills. And to say a service is provided in Europe is becoming a harder and harder thing to do. I mean, this is what makes all this so difficult, that as the sort of COVID diaspora makes it harder and harder to answer the question, where was a particular thing done? The regulatory response to that needs to be a cooperative response between national regulators, particularly with an industry which is heading into trouble as we hit the post-COVID recession. And the reality of the thing is that the UK regulators and the European regulators are gonna have to cooperate. And the question then becomes whether facilitating that cooperation effectively forces the relevant governments to stop throwing rocks into their own harbours, which Europe in particular is to some extent doing at the moment.
Flora, I want to come back to you to round out the conversation. I had a look through the latest research provided by Confederation of British Industry, so broadening the conversation out to services beyond just the financial sector in the UK. And one statistic really stood out, that most service exports originate from London and the Southeast, but the Northeast and West Midlands send 50% of their services exports to the EU3. So to what extent are those regions disproportionately exposed in a no-deal scenario?
The financial services sector and the services industry is based right across the UK. We have a very important financial services hub that operates out of Scotland, out of Edinburgh and Glasgow. And a lot of our international financial services firms who are based here have got big hubs up in Scotland. So we need to remember that. We're going to see this impacting us right across the geography of this country. You've got to remember we've got a superb fintech sector based over in Belfast. So we are going to see this right across our regions. And we've got to remember that financial services and the professional services sector that underpins and is the linchpin to the financial services export is based everywhere. And these are great employers. These are jobs that bring prosperity to the region, to regions. And this is very, very important for our government's levelling up agenda. So yeah, we all eyes are on services. So all eyes are on data. All eyes are on issues such as the accession to the Lugano Convention. We need to continue our services export here to support the prosperity that our society needs here during this COVID challenge that the UK and all of the global economies are facing.